She holds the sea quite well actually for a medium V. Fuel consumption, enough of the chit chat. Let's get dead rise of 18 degrees. Take a bit of getting up, 28-ish knots. Hey guys, thanks for jumping on board and clicking. I hope to give you some great value in the next 20 or so minutes while we take a deep dive into the Zodiac 500 Medline rib. This is a boat that we've got in stock here, so I thought I'd give it a quick test. Well, it turned out to be quite a long test, an arduous test actually. My wife Caroline, myself, Simon and the pup Sydney went for a blast up the Menai Strait to the very, very rough, as it turned out, Puffin Island. So yeah, stay tuned while I give you an warts and all deep dive into the Zodiac Medline rib. I hope you find it of value. We certainly enjoyed making it. So hit like and subscribe, share this video, and sit back and enjoy. So we're running along at about 25-30 knots in a fairly steady sea, you know. Force 3. We're standing 2, and it's not too bad. This, it's cutting through it nicely. The faster you go, the smoother it is actually. A good thing about this medium V hull and the beam, the really wide beam on the Zodiac Medline range, is when you're in a rough sea like this, it's not a particularly pleasant sea to be out in, but if you are stuck out in it, then a medium V and beamy boat just makes for a much more stable platform, much more buoyancy. Will we make it around the point? So that's the question. Let's see. It's getting rougher. What do you think, Kaz?
I think it's a really, really smooth ride considering the conditions. The dog's given up though.
Do you think it's too rough to get round the point?
Oh, Simon.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Woohoo! Turn it around. So when you're in a really short swell like that, swell was probably 10 metres, 8 metres from peak to peak. It's really important that you don't crest the wave and then drop right down the other side of it, because then you stuff the nose in. And if you stuff the bow in on a boat that's pointy, like a speedboat, then you're in trouble. You'll get a wave over the bow and you'll really be in trouble then. But with a rib, it's much more forgiving because you've got all this buoyancy down at the bow. So if you do hit a trough quite forcefully, generally speaking, you're all right. Obviously there are exceptions to that if it's a really, really deep trough. There go the kitty wakes. Razorbills. There's a fisherman braving the elements out there. There's a cormorant. Common gulls. We've got absolutely everything going on here. There's Jason giving his talk. So first impressions, she holds the sea quite well actually for a medium V. If you don't know much about hull Vs, then the medium V has got a dead rise of 18 degrees or thereabouts, and a deep V has got a dead rise of about 22, 23 degrees. And the difference between the two, in a really rough sea, a deep V cuts through the waves, whereas a medium V goes over the top of them. So that's kind of a disadvantage to the medium V. But the deep V hull is much less fuel efficient and not as quick. So we've got a 60 horsepower engine on the back of this one, and she goes about 33, 34 knots, plenty quick enough. If this was a deep V hull, then you'd be 28-ish knots. And fuel consumption, we've been out for an hour and a half now, and the fuel gauge literally hasn't moved. So I would guess that we've probably burnt about 15 litres, 10, 15 litres. If this was a deep V, then you would be maybe a third more fuel consumption. So pros and cons to the medium V hull. I think they do have their place in the UK. A lot of people don't go out boating quite so often, and when they do go out, they want to stick to nicer weather. And if you're that kind of person, then a medium V will probably suit you better than a deep V. Anyway, enough of the chit chat. Let's get to the nitty gritty and talk about the stuff, the spec on this boat. So this is a Medline 5 metre, or the Medline 500. It's a really nicely finished boat. It's got, you know, really good textures on the fabric. It's got the EVA teak deck, which is great on bare feet. Let's have a look at the stern. So this is beautifully rigged by Higham Marine, nice and neat, just as you would expect to see. She's got a really nice boarding ladder with good grab handles there. So if you're a little bit unsure of getting in and out of a boat, that will really help you. Nice little touches that you won't see on the other boats is these folding cleats. Take a bit of getting up, but stainless steel, A3 stainless, just a beautiful, nice little touch that you don't get on others. Your fuel fill is at the stern, easy to get to, easy to clean any spills. Let's move forward a little bit. All the lockers are lockable lockers, which is good. She's a little bit mucky in the stern, but just excuse that. So we've got the battery on the port side, battery switch, fuel vessel filter, which is nice and easy to get to. There's quite a lot of storage here. You could put a cool box there, no problem. Probably a 45 litre cool box would fit there, and it'll probably fit through this gap as well. So room for your cold drinks. Can't be condoning boozing on boats, but were you wanting to do that, then you could. There is a lovely cushion that goes on here, which we have left back at the Higham Marine, so you can't see that right now. Let's have a look under the helm. So you've got quite a lot of storage in here as well, actually. Everything's nice and neat, as it should be. Probably 100 litres of storage in there. You've got a nice leather feel steering wheel. You've got your gauges, tacho, trim gauge, fuel gauge, ignition switch, and your control. And the beauty of this control, the positioning of it, is when you're standing to, Mrs. Camera Lady, will you just go forward a little bit? When you're standing to and you're underway at any speed, you're going to be in kind of this position, and the control is just exactly where you want it. You can fine tune the control by holding your hand against there, so you can just give it a little bit more or a little bit less. I found it very intuitive and ergonomically perfectly positioned. There's a nice windscreen, so when I'm sat down, I can be covered away from all the bad weather if it roughs up, and I'll be nice and dry. So there's loads of grab handles all over the tubes, which is good if you've got a boat full of people. I mean, this boat will take a lot of folk. It's rated to 10 people. Now, you wouldn't put 10 people on board, but I would say 1, 2, 3 on the stern, 4, 5, 6 on seats, and then you could get another 2 bums on tubes if you wanted, or standing 2. So if you had to do a bit of beach hopping, obviously you're not going to want to go away for the full day like this, but if you wanted to do a little bit of beach hopping, your finger's in the way of the camera there, Cos, you might want to hold it with that side. Yeah, if you wanted to do a bit of beach hopping and you had 8 people on board for a couple of miles, 3 miles, you'd be absolutely fine. Right, moving forward, this is, some people call it the suicide seat. It's a bit of an extreme name for it, but yeah, this is the suicide seat. You've got a grab handle there. Probably just one person there, but you could fit 2. I'm just under 6 feet tall, and I fit on there just nicely. Right. Lovely little embossed emblem there, Zodiac. This is the kind of stuff that sets the Medline apart from all the others. It's a really good finish. You've got a good bow step and bow roller, which is retractable up here. You've got a mooring cleat. And then underneath the fore sun deck, you guys love storage, don't you? Well, this is the pièce de la résistance. Look at all the space you've got in here. You've got, you can, if you want to just pass me the camera, you could stick your skis down there if you needed to. We've got our filming gear, and then you'll put your anchor in there. Loads and loads of space inside that locker. Again, lockable as well. The cushions are held in with these little clips, and they've got a really nice positive click to them, so you know that they're in. And there's one on there as well, Kaz. So there you go. It's a self-draining hull, self-draining deck rather. 2 deck drains, one there, one there. There's a set of bungs as well that you can stick in if you don't want the deck to drain. The only time you wouldn't want the deck to drain is if you've got a boat full of people. Say you've got 8 people on board, then the buoyancy may be such that the deck is below the water line, and in that instance the water will come in through the self-draining deck, so you'll put the bungs in then. But the rest of the time, like today, just leave them out and your deck stays nice and dry, even if you take a wave overboard. Here's Caroline and Sydney, they're having a nice time. We're just passing Perch Rock at the moment. Look at the tide ripping past that. So there's some dangers here. Between Perch Rock and Puffin Island, it's a no pass really. You don't really want to go past there, because this causeway here that you can see reveals itself all the way to Perch Rock at low tide, so you can get caught out. So if you don't know the area, I would strongly recommend against passing there, and instead you want to pass between the lighthouse and Perch Rock. There is some shallow water here, so stay 100 yards away from Perch Rock when you're passing. Anyway, Kaz, what do you think of it so far?
I think it's a great family boat. I like this big sunbathing platform at the front with a cushion. It's really comfy. I like the little bathing decking area at the back with the ladder. I've used the ladder. It's really nice to be able to get onto the boat without stepping on the wheel arches, which I get told off all the time. It is lacking a couple of cup holders for my liking, and no rod holders.
That is a good point.
There is plenty of storage though, because I like all the kit out the way. It's away, it's dry, it's not going to be flying off, and then everyone can just sit comfortably.
There goes the Discovery.
And
sea wake.
We've stayed really dry today on a pretty choppy day. We've cut through the waves, and when we're both dry, and it's made going out on a day you wouldn't normally go out really enjoyable. She's a keeper.
Right, okay, there we go. So that's the lady's perspective. Let's address those concerns. No rod holders, no cup holders. Totally agree. So where we're going to put them? Cup holder in here.
Yeah,
cup holder in here. Sink those in. We even do LED cup holders if you're a bit bling. So yeah, we'll certainly think about fitting some of those. And rod holders, we have got space for rod holders in here. So I reckon, let's have a little look. Maybe one here and one here, or one here and one here. That's probably where I would fit them. And then you'd leave that side free so that you can get on and off the boat. But you could put another one there if you wanted 4 rods. You would be Philly 4 rods then, or something like that. Right, okay, so we've got a little ways to get back, and we've got to take the parents out for Easter Sunday. So we'll sign off now. I'll maybe do a little bit of drone footage on the way back, and we'll see you back on the slipway. So let's have a little look around Penmon, shall we? It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, Kaz, let's go. So we got some nice drone footage, but I had a bit of an accident when I was bringing the drone in, and I tried to grab it because we were moving obviously, and you've got to control the drone speed and direction while you're on the boat to try and grab it, and I missed it. Well, I grabbed it but didn't grab it properly, and it hurts, mummy. So in summary, the Medline 500, we had a really good time. We gave it a good old thrash up and down the straits in all sorts of water conditions, from pretty much flat calm. There's a little Sydney, pretty much flat calm, right the way through to a particularly peaky wind against tide event when we were just trying to go around the top end of Puffin, and it managed it with a plumb. It's not a deep V, don't expect it to perform like one, but if you are your everyday boater, or your fair weather boater should I say, the advantages of a medium V hull, and especially the Zodiac Medline 500 with its capacious area around the bow, extra refinement, I think will be worth your consideration, definitely, especially if you like doing a bit of lounging, lazy fishing, beach hopping, that kind of thing, entertaining with friends. This style of boat, I think, definitely has its place in the British scene. Here is the beautiful Menai Bridge, Dylan's restaurant in the background, which my lovely daughter Tilly works at, so if you're in there, say hi to Tilly. You've got Port Daniel Boatyard, lovely guys, rib ride, e-foil ride, they do all that kind of thing. And then here is the best kept secret in North Wales. This is Menai Bridge Slipway. You can launch and recover here any state of any tide. And I'm going to do a video of launching and recovering. So if you feel like watching that, how to do it on this slipway, then stay tuned. I might even add it as a link to this video. So yeah, thanks to you guys for watching. If you like this kind of content, I will just ask you one more time to subscribe to the channel. There's stuff like this going off all the time, so subscribe and you won't miss a thing. And please like and comment. Tell me what you think, what you like, what you don't like. If I've missed anything out, please let me know. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on the water next time, when I can give you some good value on my honest opinion on a new boat. So as I just about get the boat onto the trailer, second time of asking if you noticed, yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thanks again.